Ooh, scared you, didn't I? Hello everyone, how are you all doing? This video today is on a review on the current Monsters Unleashed with the tanks themselves. I have the Awakened mode, and the reason being is that there seems to be a slight feck up with this. The only tanks I have available are the Kaiju, the Spectre, and the Lycan itself, all in the Awakened mode. So what we're going to do is hop into some games and give you a review on these specific tanks itself and how it's going on, and the game mode overall, and my current gripes with it. So the current game we've got now is the Lycan. The Lycan is extremely good in general. Overall, against all the other Awakened tanks that there are available, they are very, very good. Before you actually begin, you don't have the ability of using your speed and your absolute redonkulous aim time and reload, your aim time and gun clip potential. So you move about like a normal Lycan. It doesn't take too long before you do actually have the option available to then start speeding around the map like your Usain Bolt on steroids and rocket boosters. You turn a massive yellow smoke and you start going absolutely flying. Prokhorovka is a very, very good map in this case, especially for this tank. What you don't want to be doing, if you can help it, is not move out into a lot of cover. The game itself, in terms of fun factor, is all definitely there without a doubt. It's fun to just roll around the map, and it is fun to play a completely different mode, something which just takes away from the normal gameplay. But there are issues that I have, more specifically with tanks, the actual tanks they provided was with, alongside the map in general. The Lycan is one of those tanks which I have a problem with because of the absolute godlike potential it has in dominating games and staying alive and being one of the few, or one of only two tanks in my opinion, which is actually decent. Now I'm basing this off the fact that I generally only come across the Spectre, the Lycan, the Goldwrench and the Craft Panther. The other lot I don't tend to. As you can see already, it's just dumps ammo into people and then you're able to reload. If you're able to get in a spot where you can run around and get people in singular places, this tank is very, very good and has been since the last one. Hasn't really changed. The potential of this tank to do extremely well is there. The other problem I find with the tank itself is because of its low profile nature and its absolute rapid speed. Yes, it's one of those things which is good, but it can get a bit too much. So one of the things I've noticed in these games is that people are playing a lot of the Spectres. Now, all in well, very good. I liked the idea of Himmelsdorf before because there was a lot of cover you could go into. This map is far too open for these tanks. There's this one and the KB5 which absolutely dominate. Whilst I don't have the KB5, I have plenty of videos available that will show its actual potential, even driven by people who haven't got a great concept of the game itself per se, not to kind of put them down for being not very good at the game, but in proving a point that you don't need to be good to do well in the tank. The Lycans I'm going on here, I get the mode again, and I'm keeping my distance from the people. I want to try and separate them and go forward. The other problem, which is again apparent from Himmelsdorf, I've just been shot by the Craft Panther. I know where he is, and all I'm doing now to find him is I'm hitting the auto lock button. That's all you have to do to find him. You could be at the other end of the map and you can hit that button and you will find him. I don't have to do anything to find the person in question. He's there, right in front of me. Doesn't even need to fire. Yes, it's not an amazing amount of damage that I'm able to do to him, but that's irrelevant to the point. The tank has a feature whereby you're meant to be a dead tank, so you're harder to see from other people. I have a more difficult time seeing the Spectres than I do the Craft Panther because they are really, really well hidden in all this mist. And having the ability to have a tank which is meant to play dead is a really cool factor. But then when you have people that just smash the RP button, which by the way, because the aim time on this Lycan is so amazing, and just the fact you don't have to aim it, and I'll show you a clip as well of me taking out 3 tanks because it's just a godlike. It kind of takes the fun away from it. People tend to only use those tanks. I'm not even getting to one of the games which I'll show you later on with a platoon of KB5s, and it's just ridiculous. So what I'll do is I'll move on to those now, but I'll go into a game I played in the Spectre just to show you kind of how it looks and how it plays. So now we're ready to start the game in the Spectre, same spawn as before, using a very, very good speed to get forward and maneuverability. The thing lacking with this tank is its penetration power and also your inability to actually be able to shoot a lot of things. The penetration is a letdown, so your kind of ability to actually get people properly is diminished, especially when you have to get close to them. And since KV5 sets everything on fire, including the ground, the air, the sun, I don't know, anything it touches it just sets on fire, you've got to be very, very careful. I'm going to speed up the match a bit itself because I do take a wider turn. We have the heavies on our team, the KV5, so it's not really much of a problem to go around. As we're coming up and over the top of the hill, making our way around the normal kind of route you go, you can already see that the KV5s are pretty much owning everything. They're taking out the Spectres. Again, you have the actual problem that because a lot of people want to get the Spectre medal, it's very, very difficult to get it on your first attempt. I mean, even on the second, third or fourth, because all the games are that difficult. When you're coming up against KV5s, the penetration is not there unless you aim it right, and you can't really do that because of the fact that the system will set you on fire if it hits you. You don't need to play it that well, just keep it in front of you. I mean, we're not even going to cover the fact that KV5 can heal itself as well. I mean, God almighty, this tank, it just does everything. The Spectre is just your feck around tank. It's not really one you really want to be playing too well, and you just play it for medal. But on this map, with the other tanks that are available to other people, your task is so much more difficult. You can't do much. I mean, the shell velocity is very small, so you can see they're going wide. I had a bit of issues with it telling me it was locked on, and it wasn't. So I was pressing the RB and I couldn't properly realise whether it was locked on or not, so I had a lot of issues with this Lycan. But you can see the damage rolls is not ideal. It's just not getting the damage that I want. Is underclassed in every way compared to every other tank that people can use, whether it be the case of the KV5, the Craft Panther, the Holland, the Dragons, the Lycan. Making people's fun go down is an easy way of putting it. It's just a bit stupid the way in which I find this being happening, and every game I seem to play in, the people who are in the KV5s are always the people who are going to be last alive. Yes, their armor and their HP pool helps a lot, but look at what it is they're going up against. As long as you have someone who's capable of aiming in the KV5 somewhat, you're able to go on and win the game without trying. How can someone in the Spectre, how can someone in the Lycan go up against that and try and resolve the problem at hand? Maybe one of them, yes, but not two, not three. They can sit in the cap circle and absolutely ruin the game. What we're going to do now is hop into the Kaiju to show you the... Oh, Jesus Christ, it's crap, it really is. But we'll hop into it anyway. So now we're in the Kaiju, 3 seconds before the game begins, and we're off. And we're going to be going up to the hill. I want to use the same tactic that the KV5 does. Whilst we're going up there, because it's going to take me a very, very long time, the map looks good. I do like the way the map looks. I love the green, I love the mist, I love the Halloween feel. It genuinely does look like a really good map. There's a lot of effort that's gone into it. It's a fun one to play. The green shit that comes up as if it's water and the way it covers the tracks, it looks really, really nice. You get that kind of feeling that it's definitely Halloween. It's all spooky and all this kind of crap going on. Really, really good. That itself, I would presume, is a relatively easy task to do, but still at the same time, it does look really nice. The green stuff going all over the place, I love it in place of its water. And the way it sticks on the tracks as well for a very long time, it's almost radioactive. It's just unfortunate that this tank's radioactive ability is crap. So the KV5, again, I go back to this because it's one of the most played tanks that I see in this game, and God mighty when it's platooned, it's amazing. I have the ability of super ramming ability. There's like a radioactive spread, so it all goes around me, and I just get my standard electric shock, which does do a fair amount of damage, providing it actually pens, like 300-400, and especially when you're going up against Lycans and your Spectres, all the lightly armoured light tanks, just rips through them. The Craft Panther, unfortunately, I never actually played this tank enough to come across one of them, and I don't really want to, because this Kaiju, I don't like its ability that it moves really slowly. I've never liked its ability that it doesn't turn turrets very quickly, and that it's completely outclassed by another heavy tank, the KV5, so I wouldn't see the point in playing this. Fortunately, the Spectre in front of me decides that sitting still is the best way, and I might be able to not see him, but he is detected and carries on. What I wanted to gain from this game was will someone come along and try out my radioactive feature? I never had an opportunity to try it. I'm not quite 100% sure on what it actually does or what the best scenario is to use it. There isn't anything that I can find that stipulates each tank's amazing ability and how to specifically use it, which kind of makes it really annoying because you have to do it trial by error, and then it works in some cases and doesn't in others. So as I'm going around the Kaiju, I want to use the buildings as cover. I'm trying to draw people towards me. My sniping ability over long range apparently isn't that good, although it's good enough to hit the commander port and a Lycan and do no damage whatsoever because reasons, but that's just the normal RNG physics of wargaming, World of Tanks, stuff like that. Anyways, back to the Kaiju. So I'm taking shots if I can do at the tanks in front of me, whether it be the Lycan, the Gorgrinch is behind the wall, and Spectre. Again, I'm trying to draw them towards me. The feature of the radioactive field is that if a tank apparently gets too close to you, you can use it. Bearing in mind you have to have reloaded, by the way, which takes 11 seconds, which is kind of annoying considering that you don't really have 11 seconds to work out whether someone's going to be able to be near you or not. But I'll load it up anyway and see what happens. The armor's sort of bouncing. Spectre's getting quite close to me. I load it up, start using it. Kind of annoying, not really getting much on him. He runs into the wall, that's all good, so I'll go back to him, lock on. Still bouncing, then it does some damage and then not others. What was I doing wrong? Am I doing something I shouldn't be doing? I don't know. I'm really confused. So I'll switch back to the alarm, but it's too late anyway, I end up getting killed. Not quite sure what's actually going on there, but again, the limitations of the tank are quite clearly shown, and it is really not a good tank. If you're going to get one, just remember it's not going to be that good. We're going to skip on to the KV-5 now. It is being taken on by the Revenant and what will be the Spectre as well. The Lycan himself does get killed. So as we go around, basically what we're going to do, we're going to go up to... Trying to find it? Yeah. I mean, it's only... and there's like just over 10 minutes left of the game itself. The Spectre's just been killed. The Revenant sat behind shooting the Gorgrinch. The health regeneration ability is there. It's not exactly a lot, but when you consider that a lot of people can actually pen its armor, it adds up over time. At the moment it's not detected, so what's he going to do? He's probably going to keep driving towards the Revenant and see what happens. All during this time he's able to regen his own health, and his still will go up. Even with bounces, critical damage hits, you're still going to regen your health. It's not by a lot, but bounce. It's just bouncing all the time. The Scrap Panther can't hit him where it hurts. He's only managed to get a shot in there because he's hitting what I believe to be one of the few weak spots on the front of the tank. The Gorgrinch, though, can fire the artillery shell up and over the top. This tank has the ability to set pretty much anything on fire. One of the stipulations of the Kaiju is that it's not meant to be set on fire and is apparently an equal match to this. Absolute crap. That thing will set it on fire regardless of whether it's covered in fire retardant foam. It will still set it on fire. This Kaiju could be covered in water and it would still get set on fire by the KV-5. So something is seriously crap in a light term with regards to that. And throughout all this time, this Scrap Panther's still shooting the KV-5 and he's just barrel rolling towards him. The extra HP that this guy is getting back from every shot might be only by like 20 or 30 HP. But that's irrelevant. That's still enough. I mean, all the health that he's regenerating over this time is enough to get close. We're not going to take into account the level of the person playing the Scrap Panther, because as far as I'm concerned, it's actually a really good viewpoint of seeing how much this tank is kind of just able to just wreck things. I mean, yes, the Scrap Panther should have moved a while ago. Why he did or didn't, not really of my concern to be able to say, because I'm not in his shoes. But the regeneration potential of the KV-5 is unrivaled. What we're going to do into the final game, this is just going to be a very, very short clip. It was a game I played in the Lycan, and there was 3 people in the KV-5, and they were in the middle of the map. And I've just switched to them now. It's not been long in the game itself, so there's not many people dead. The idea being that, again, I keep going on about this. This tank is literally the only thing you should ever play in this game mode if you want to win, because it's so ridiculously unfair, especially when you platoon it. So the 3 people in question here have all platooned the KV-5. They're not especially good players by the way in which they play this game particularly. Their aiming ability, their situational awareness wasn't there. And again, it's another fine example of being able to show you what it is that can happen with a game like this where you have people who don't know specifically what they're doing and how the tank itself can still outperform everything. They were big fans of the flamethrower. Looks good. I mean, if they were enjoying it, that's all very well and good. Let them have at that. They're still all on pretty much 100%, and they've only got 2 light tanks left. The light tank of the Lycan, and I believe another Spectre. The Lycan is doing very well in taking out the people individually. Because this tank, the Lycan, can take out Spectre in 4 hits and literally wreck someone in 1.5 seconds. If you can get people on their own, that's ideal. If not, you're in a bit of a predicament. And one tip, if you are going to use a Lycan, is always leave a last shot in until you know when you reload you're not going to get buggered for it. Because as soon as you hit that reload button, that tank is not moving anywhere. And he makes a mistake of doing that, this Lycan itself. Doesn't get punished for it, but he could do, and it's one of the things you need to look into. This KV5 got a bit unlucky with being set on fire, but he's not losing too much health, and it wouldn't be too much of a problem. He's got other people to back him up. Now again, their use of the flamethrower is not something they should be doing, but each to their own. I'm not going to be kind of going into their gameplay style a little bit too much, but only to prove that even driven by people who aren't the best, it's still really, really good. If you find a tank which can be driven by someone who isn't particularly amazing at the game and still outperforms everything, there's something that's amiss, in my personal opinion. They are looking to be changing to the standard rounds, because they seem to see that the actual flamethrowers aren't really doing very much. They're just kind of having a bit of fun. Unfortunately, the Lycan takes a little bit of a jump over the top, gets buggered for it, set on fire as normal, and then finally gets taken out. So you can see how many rings this Lycan was running around these KV5s, a little slip up and was still able to be killed. But he could only take out one of them. He wasn't able to take out all of them. It's phenomenal how much this tank dominates in this game mode, absolutely. And then when you're platooning together, it just gets ridiculous. I would finally say that the matchmaking in this game was really shit, as a gross understatement, because of the way it put 3 of the KV5s in our team and they got nothing. That is another issue which I've come across, is it's not placing people correctly. Because people are platooning tanks like this, one of the other teams isn't getting platooned correctly because the server population isn't very much. So again, we have another big issue here. Maybe that will be changed for the next one, maybe it won't. I just think this is a big step backwards from Himmelsdorf. I would much prefer to see the ability of non-platooning. Looking at how it is that it's played now, I mean, the ability to platoon maybe in Himmelsdorf, maybe 2 people maximum would have been ideal, but then changing them out to Prokhorovka and then giving people the option of a platoon, you can see it's kind of not ideal. So what I'll do is I'll leave it there. I'll leave the open discussion in the comments below, so do let me know how you see this is going and if you've had any good or bad experiences within the game mode. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful people later.